One of the reasons that coffee houses are so popular is that their coffee is fresh. And it's fresh in such venues because of the quantity of green beans they roast on a daily basis. But you can produce equally fresh coffee at home, too. There's nothing like it, but it takes a little devotion to go through the steps. If you're willing to do that, you can enjoy the most intense coffee flavor from your own blend, and save money on the price of beans. Let me show you the steps. We start with the part that is probably the least done in most coffee-loving households, buying green beans. Sources for them are easily found on the web, and you can buy them 5 pounds at a time or in wholesale quantities at wholesale prices, which is very smart cost-wise if you consume enough to last several months. Yes, green beans retain their flavor a lot longer than roasted beans. A 22-pound order of green beans might come like this, in a burlap sack. My practice is to transfer the green beans to glass jars and keep them handy in my kitchen for processing, which will include roasting, grinding, and brewing. The object on the left is the roasting chamber that is part of the Jean Cafe roaster. This might be the best time to point out that each of the items I'm using are top of the line for home brewing. It's kind of like a hybrid car. You pay a lot to save at the pump. The savings is in the mileage. The more coffee you consume, the more you compensate for the costs of the machinery. Since I roast 9.5 ounces at a time, because the roaster recommends a maximum of 10, I measure it out on my little digital scale to get the blend of beans that I like. My blend is the result of experimentation and not a requirement. You can buy green beans in the supplier's blend, for example. So, measured out, I pour my green beans into the chamber and slide it into the roaster. Close the plastic cover and turn the unit on. Set the temp, set the time, which determines how deep a roast you want, and let it go. As the roast reaches the last minute or so, you can adjust the time upward or downward depending on the color of the beans. The roasted beans are then poured into my grinder's chamber. I usually let it cool for a bit since I do a roast before I completely run out. In fact, you want the beans to let off some of the gases for a day or so. Also, for best results, you want to set your grind at a size that will best match your roast and your espresso machine. Here's the Pasquini Livia 90 espresso machine, so named for Mr. Pasquini's wife. I know this because he's the one who told me during one of my visits to his downtown Los Angeles sales and repair facility. The Livia, as well as other 2-cup models, are considered semi-commercial machines for home use. I bought it about 10 years ago and paid, as I recall, something near $1,000. Believe me, I paid that much only after going through a number of less expensive units that didn't last like this one. Today, of course, the latest Pasquinis are going to cost more and have more features. Upkeep is generally limited to replacing the rubber gasket from time to time and cleaning out the group head in between. In addition to the coffee extraction, the machine produces nearly boiling water that can be used for a perfect cup of tea, and or to preheat your cups so that you can have your coffee hot. Now, set the portafilter with the freshly ground coffee into the group head with a firm twist. Unfortunately for me, I can't have coffee, not even coffee this good, without sugar, and I envy those coffee drinkers who drink it black. So, next, I put a partial teaspoon of brown sugar into the cup, place it on the rack under the group head, and as soon as the pressure gauge and lights indicate the machine's up to heat and pressure, I hit the pump. Note that the portafilter is designed to pour 2 streams in order to make 2 separate espresso cups at the same time. Since I like to do a double, it's no problem to pour both streams into 1 cup. Note the color and consistency of the brew, medium brown and full of air. This forms a good crema at the top. If it was beer, we'd call it the head. The word crema is Italian for foam, but, of course, it also suggests cream. Bottom line, it's natural to the coffee bean and only the coffee bean. The wand on the Livia and on just about all espresso machines allows you to foam milk to make a cappuccino as well, although my method should probably be called a macchiato, which translates from the Italian as the word mark, for that spot of foam atop the crema. In a well-drawn espresso, the crema will slightly dissipate if you let it sit. Before I allow that to happen, I stir the sugar a little and take a teaspoon sampling, with lots of crema, for the most intense, joyous coffee flavor you can find anywhere. Then I sit down and enjoy a bit of bliss. Molto bene. Infatti, è perfetto. It's not my purpose here to sell anyone on any particular brands, just to show anyone who's curious what the total routine for the freshest home brewing possible involves. Some people perform their roast in the oven, and of course there are coffee machines up and down the scale. But if you're a true coffee lover and haven't considered how much you can improve your home brew, I hope this video has given you a little inspiration. I think of it as a hobby. So join me. Ciao.